What's going on, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video, and I'll be reacting to three scary, true, real life horror. Real life stalker horror stories. I believe this is from Nightmare Files. All right, here we go.
The four of us were just hyperventilating as if we just ran an ultra marathon. I was starting to settle down when Jason said, "Look at the window."
When Jason said, "Oh fuck, look at the window." Nightmare Files.
This story happened to my brother, and it's told from his perspective. On Halloween of 2017, I went trick-or-treating with my friends who all call Harvey, Michael, and Daniel. We were all around 14 to 15 years old, and really just wanted to make the most of Halloween. As we had so much
I
homework
think that was the
starting the
last
10th
time I went
grade,
trick or treating. I was
we
like, I was
probably would never
14.
be able to trick-or-treat again.
Might have been 15.
Anyway, we were all walking down this random street at like 9:30 when we saw one house with insane over-the-top Halloween decorations that looked like it cost up to about $500.
Yeah,
The four of us
that's how
walked up to the
he's like an
house
angler
and
for
rang the bell.
just drawing in
Some
kids. Like,
50-year-old
"Hey,
looking
come
man
in,
opened the
come
door
here."
and
They
said,
snatch your
"No
ass
need to
inside.
yell. Just come on in and you'll get your sweets."
Never
Daniel
go
told
in
the guy,
anybody's house.
well, asked the guy, "Can you just bring the candy out here?" The guy didn't even answer. And so the four of us just walked away,
Yes.
not saying a single word.
Yeah, don't go in.
But
his
of
house.
course, this story wouldn't be scary if it didn't end here.
Yeah, it's true.
We were walking down my street when Harvey pointed out, "Guys, that man is following us." We all
He
looked
like,
out
y'all
behind
little,
us
y'all not
and
gonna
saw
get
the
away.
same
He's like,
50-year-old looking man
I
walking
like you,
about 25 feet behind us.
and I want you.
The four of us bolted all the way to the house. We ran to my house, we thrust open the front door, entered my house, and locked the door.
And he was already in the
Four of us were
house.
just hyperventilating as if we just ran an ultra marathon. I was starting to settle down when Jason said, "Look at the window." We all looked, and there he was, the old man looking through one of my windows. My parents were on a vacation, and my brother was at his friend's Halloween party, so we couldn't tell them.
She's a
But
Jason
what
man.
really made this horrifying was that I could see this guy holding a gun in his hand.
Oh wow.
I yelled at my friends, and we ran upstairs to call the police.
He's like, I'm about to
The
shoot you.
officers
Motherfucker.
arrived in about 10 minutes. The man wasn't on my property anymore, but we remembered the house, so that's where we went. The cops went there, searched the whole place, and came out with the man in chains. It turned out the house was vacant, and the man was a serial killer who escaped from prison a month ago.
Wow.
If my friends and
What?
I are able to go trick-or-treating again, we're avoiding the street that this house was on.
That sounds fake.
And who knows what that guy
He was a
doing
serial
in the
killer who had
hood
just
these days.
escaped from prison.
I'm glad this happened when we were teenagers and not when we were 9 years old. All I can say is if you're
I'd be
trick-or-treating,
glad if it didn't happen at
make
all.
sure that the house owner is completely normal.
I think the most normal is the people who leave the bowls outside and just have a sign that said "Take one." Those are normal
It was my 11th
because
birthday
they don't
on
even want
March
to
2nd,
be around you
2012.
motherfuckers.
I was a big fan of Selena Gomez, and I wanted one of her CDs for the radio my grandpa had bought me a few months prior. Anyways, my grandpa took my sister and I to Target after he got out of work to buy me a Selena Gomez CD I've been begging for. At this time, Target in my area had a small food court with a snack bar with Pizza Hut in it, which I always got when I went shopping there. My grandpa and sister and I, we all order our miniature pizzas, you know, the personal pans.
Yeah,
And we
Lord, I
sat
love
down at the
those
table with
back
our
in the
food,
day.
which happened to be right by the register. After the worker gave us our pizzas, they headed to the back to clean up, I assume. So it was just my grandpa, my sister, and I in the food court. Everything was good for about 5 to 10 minutes while we were eating. But then I noticed my grandpa, who was sitting across from my sister and I, look behind me. He moved his eyes side to side as if he was watching somebody. I, with my heart racing because I was so confused, turned around, and that's when I seen the most disgusting and creepy looking man I've ever seen in my life. He was tall, maybe about 6'2" to 6'4". He was partially bald,
No, he's a big
had dirty
motherfucker.
stained clothes, and he smelled like pee. He was right
Damn,
behind me,
yeah, I was like, how
right back in the
close
corner
was he to
behind
you?
my grandpa. And that's when my grandpa started to yell at the guy, telling him to get away. My grandpa
You
then
told him to
stood up
fuck
and said,
off.
"If you don't get away from my granddaughters, I'm going to make you get away." And that's when the guy
Nah,
backed
he's
up,
talking about
and
fuck
he
you
just
up.
stared. My sister and I then got up, and we quickly rushed over to the other side of the table where my grandpa was. We started to walk away, and that's when I heard the guy say, "You're very beautiful. Where are you from?"
Yeah, but
"Must
you're
be from the
very
islands of
ugly.
Fiji or something like that." I turned around and he was looking straight at me. Then he pointed and said, "Yeah, you pretty girl." That's when my eyes got wide, and my grandpa rushed my sister and I down the aisle to get away from this guy.
Wow, he is just
He was
following
following right
y'all?
behind us, saying his name,
Wow.
along with his address, telling me that I could come visit him sometime. My grandpa kept a hold of
Like,
my
that's gonna
sister and
happen.
I, making us go down different aisles to lose him. When we finally did, we quickly purchased the CD and went out to the car. When we got into the car, my grandpa was driving out of the parking lot, and we saw the guy walk out of the store looking around like he was looking for us, or specifically looking for me. He didn't see us, as we were already driving
He's like, you
away.
got a real pretty
But I
mouth.
was completely terrified because that was something I've never experienced in my life before.
Well, yeah,
I wish I could
somebody's
say that
literally
was any
chasing
good,
you.
but I seen that guy one more time after that. 2 years later, when I was 13, again, I was with my grandpa, but it was just him and I. We were leaving my grandparents' house, and we got into the car to head to the mall. As we were at the end of our street, we seen the guy again, walking down the street. I stared at him wide-eyed, and we made eye contact, which made my heart drop a
He was like,
beat.
oh, I remember
He
you.
then immediately started to scream as soon as he saw me, and tried to run after the car as my grandpa drove off. But of course, he didn't catch us.
Wow,
Later on,
this
we
dude's a
got back
lunatic now.
to my grandparents' house.
Not even trying to be
I had found out there was
somewhat
an insane
subtle like he
asylum
was
right down the street
before.
from my grandparents' house at the time, which is where we believed he lived, since the address he gave matched the address to the place. I'm 19 now, and I never saw that guy after the
Well,
last
you're
time
not
when
his
I was
type
13,
anymore. You're too
and
old.
I'm really glad I didn't because he was seriously ill.
When I say like subtle, even though he was following them, like physically following them, with them being able to see him, uh, it's more subtle than looking at the car and start screaming and then chasing after it.
This story happened to me about 8 years ago when I was in the second grade. I was around 6 or 7 years old at the time, and I wasn't really popular with the other second graders. I was always the odd one out with about 1 to 3 friends, or sometimes less. This meant I was usually on my own after and during school.
Sound like me.
This one incident happened at the end of the day
To
when
most of
everyone
my
was starting to go
general
home.
school education.
What I would do is, I would wait inside the gate of my school until I saw my mom's car pull up. Then I would walk over to her car and she would take me home. On this day, though, this car that looked exactly like my mom's pulled up in front of the school. So I walked up to it and almost opened the door. But then I saw the driver and realized that it wasn't my mom's car at all. There was a bald, Hispanic-looking man inside the car, average height with jeans on, with a brown tank top, who appeared to be in his mid-30s. He saw me and apologized,
He's
and
like,
almost
oh,
get into his car
you can get
and
in
started
now.
walking back to the school when he said, "Hey, I can take you home if you want." I said no thank you and that my mom would come soon, but he just didn't let up. He kept insisting that I go with him,
Oh, how about you
but I
fuck
said
off?
no over and over again. He also said that he notices that my mom usually shows up late, so he must have been watching me for a while.
What?
Eventually, he just got so fed up, he just decided to reach out of his car window and grab me.
Did he
I don't know
buy
why.
the car that looked
For
like your
some
mom's
reason,
car?
I didn't cry or scream.
He really
I
wanted you.
just sort of silently freaked out and started scratching the man's arm. The moment I drew blood, he gave up,
Oh,
let go,
damn.
and drove off. I never told anyone about the man for some reason. I really don't know why.
Dude was like, fuck it.
When I
And
finally told my
he was
mom
like, you're
about
little
this
enough.
story
I
a
can
few days
snatch
ago,
you in here.
she said I could have saved some other poor child from potentially being kidnapped, molested, or killed had I spoken up. and now I feel terrible. Needless to say, I never saw him again after that. My mind kind of repressed this memory for the longest time until I just remembered it recently. And now that it's fresh in my mind, I can't stop thinking about it and what he could have done to me had I gotten his car. And I always wonder how long he was actually watching me.
Cause like, cause he got a car that looks like, cause he had a car that looks like your mom's car, and they pulled up where you were at, and like expect you to, and it was like, oh yeah, I noticed your mom is late a lot. Like, I was wondering if that was going, because it was still like a minute left. It's like, was it another, like a really short story about to come on? But yeah, it's like, I'm like, did he buy that car to look like your mom? To be like, hey, so I can trick you, and you open the door, and it's like, get your ass in here, like. And then he just grabbed, well, he said that was a she, I can't remember, but the person, uh, the kid, they just the guy just grabbed them. Like, that is that. I've never had a person just grab me. Like, I remember, I mean, she didn't do it intentionally. Plus, it was like it was nothing like this. Like, no, like rape or anything was being ready to happen. But it was I was in a mall once, and I was with my mom and I think my older brother was there, and I was looking at, I think it was video games or something, and she and a woman just reached and like grabbed my arm, and she was talking with somebody else and like just pulling me with her, and I remember, and now I remember that it was another kid like standing there, and he moved away and walked away. I was like, maybe that was, I don't know, but she grabbed me, and I remember going like looking at her, and I started like pulling away from her, and then when I pulled her, she looked down. She was like, "Oh," I just like, and I walked away. That's like spare walk away. I mean, but like I said, that had nothing, no malicious intent. She just reached back and thinking, I guess I was another kid, and her kid, and grabbed me instead. I never forget. I was like, it started like pulling my hand away. Look at her face. She's like, oh my. And the person she was talking to was like, uh, but yeah, I never, uh, yeah, but that other one, they said this dude was literally just following. It's an adult there. So it didn't even matter. Like, people like, I need an adult. This dude didn't give a fuck. He's like, I'm going to follow you, saying how pretty you are, with your grandfather right there, and he's already threatened me, like to do something to me because I'm talking to his underage kid. Like, he don't give. He's just following them. I was like, how did he lose them though? If he's trying to lug along two kids, and this guy's literally just following them, and he end up losing them somehow in the aisles, and then ran outside. I was like looking for him, and then saw this chick 2 years later, and saw her, and just started yelling and chasing the. This dude is in love, and he sick and sick as a damn sick ass. Like 2 years, no contact, and then you like, that's her. Just start running. Like, that's why I assume, because she said he started screaming and then chasing the car. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell, or you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.